Okay, this is the lemonade link sheet. I'll pull up my time so I can keep an eye on it. Okay, it says, Allie and Keziah, my girls, want to sell lemonade at the neighborhood's yearly yard sale. They borrow $40 from me, Mamacita, for supplies, which they must pay back. They decide they're going to sell a cup of lemonade for $2. Complete the link sheet that illustrates the relationship between the cups of lemonade sold, and their profit. Should the slope be positive or should the slope be negative? Well, if they are charging $2 per cup, as they add another cup sold, the total amount that they've earned increases. They do have to pay back me $40, but that doesn't change the fact that every time they sell a cup of lemonade, they've earned more money. So this would be a positive slope. Okay? It says complete the link sheet that illustrates the relationship between the cups of lemonade sold and their profit. So since their profit depends, this depends on how many cups are sold, their profit is the dependent variable. This is the dependent variable, always. The y is always the dependent and x is always the independent. Since their profit depends on the number of cups sold, their profit is the dependent variable. And the cups, the number of cups sold is their independent. So the first thing they have to do before they can go buy anything is they have to borrow $40. So if they borrow $40 from their mamacita, but they have not sold any cups of lemonade yet, it means when they have sold no cups, their profit is negative $40 because they have to pay back the $40 first. And then you can just you can count this however you want to count this. So you could count this by 0, 1, 2, 3. You could count this 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You can fill in these values however you want. That. Okay? So if they have sold no cups of lemonade, they owe $40. If they've sold 2 cups, they've earned 40. They have to take, I'm sorry, they haven't earned 40. They've earned 4, right? What they've earned is 4. But the first thing they have to do is start paying back. So they earned 4, they gave me the 4, they still owe me $36. And how did I get $4 right here? It's because 2 cups at $2. This would be 4 cups at $2. That's $8. They've earned $8, but that's not their profit. They have earned $8, but the first thing they have to do is pay me back, right? So since they have to pay me back a total of 40, if they sell 4, they earn $8, they have to give that to me, they still owe me $32. So etc. $6 or 6 cups at $2. The first thing you need to do is, after we have filled that out, because you can fill this out without writing the equation, is we need to go back and write the equation. So we know that the slope, which is m, is the change in y over the change in x. Okay? I can figure out the change in y. I can say 0 minus 2, or I could say 2 minus 0. It doesn't matter. So if I say 2 minus 0, the change in x is going to be equal to 2. So the change in x is equal to 2. But if I said 2 minus 0 right here, then I need to find the difference of these in the same order. So if I said 2 minus 0, then I have to say negative 36 minus negative 40. When you subtract a negative, you're really adding it, so that is really a positive 4. So the change in y is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. But this is a scenario, so we need to have some units here. It's 2 what? Well, the change in y is the profit. It's money, right? It's dollars. So it's $2 per, the change in x is, when I reduce it, it's 4 divided by 2. I get 2, basically 2 per 1, 2 over 1. 1 what? 1 cup sold. So it's $2 per, this line is red, per cup of lemonade sold. Okay? The y-intercept. We have the y-intercept when the value of x is equal to 0. Well, here the value of x was equal to 0. They owed $40, so the y-intercept here was negative 40. Write the explicit equation. I'm going to write it in the form y equals mx plus b, which is the slope-intercept form. Okay, so here's our explicit equation. I can go over and I can do the graph next, or I can go ahead and do the questions. I'll do the questions next. It says using the explicit equation, so I'm expecting to see the equation you wrote as your starting place. Y equals 2x minus 40. If the Gelzer girls want to make a profit of $80, profit is the y, the dependent variable. So they're giving us y. How many cups do they need to sell? So they are asking us the number of cups, right? So they're asking us to find x. So I'm going to start with y equals 2x minus 40. It's saying a profit of $80, so I'm going to say 80 equals 2x minus 40. And now I'm being asked to find x, so I'm going to add 40 to both sides. I get 120 equals 2x. X equals 60. 60 what, right? This is a scenario, so I can't just say 60. $60? No. X is for the number of cups, so 60 cups. Okay, if the Gelzer girls sold 13 cups, here they're giving us X. How much have they earned? They're asking us for the profit. They're asking us to find Y. So I'm going to start with y equals 2x minus 40. They're telling me the value of x is 13, so y equals 2 times 13 minus 40. Y equals 26 minus 40. Y equals a negative. How many cups of lemonade need to be sold to break even? When it says break even, it's trying to tell us that the profit is going to be equal to 0. They haven't made any money, but they don't owe any money either. So they paid back their $40, but they haven't earned any additional money that they can put in their own pockets yet. So what we need to do is we are given y. Y is going to be equal to 0. How many cups? This is the question of what we need to find. We need to find x. Okay, so start with the explicit equation. We're saying that y is equal to 0. Solve for x. Okay, this is a scenario, so 20 what? 20 cups. I'd like to go back to B for just a second. It says if the Gelzer girls sold 13, how much have they earned? Okay, and we came up with negative 14. What have they earned? Right? We got an answer, but we really actually didn't answer the question. Because if we answer the question to how much they earned, they haven't earned anything. They're still in the hole by $14. So they've earned $0. That's really the answer to the question. Okay, the last thing I need to do is to make my graph. My x variable, which is my dependent variable, always goes on the x-axis. This is going to be the number of cups sold. My dependent variable always goes on the y, which we already said is profit. For a title, I can just use something simple like lemonade cups versus profit, or number of cups versus profit. If I look at my data table, I see that I need to go from negative 16 to negative 40. Now I can either start at 0, right? I can make an origin and count down to negative 40. That's one possibility. Or I could skip some beginning numbers, which we really haven't talked about too much. But I am allowed to start numbering at any number I want as long as I show that there was a gap. So for example, if I want to go, I need to go from negative 16 to negative 40. That's a difference of 24. What I could do is just count by twos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this my origin up here. And what I could say is negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10. Now let's see. The problem with that is that if I do that, I will only get to negative 38. So what I think I'll do is I'll skip like the first 10 numbers. So if you skip numbers, what you do is you draw in this little, I don't even know what it's called, hatch mark thingy, right? And it says, hey, I'm skipping numbers and I'm skipping them on purpose. So then I think I'll start my counting at negative 14. So I'm skipping numbers, I'm skipping them on purpose. I'm telling you, hey, yeah, I know, I skipped some numbers. You could also call this 0 and you could decide what to count by so that you can manage to get all the way up to negative 40 or down to negative 40 since it's negative. Okay, so then I'm going to count by negative 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so I don't have enough to count by 1, so I'm going to go ahead and count by 2s. So negative 14, negative 16, negative 18. I'm just skipping because, you know, I don't like them squished. Okay, I'm going to continue to number. I'll be right back. Okay, so I skipped some numbers on purpose. Negative 14, negative 16, negative 18, negative 20, negative 22, negative 24, etc., etc. So then I am also going to count for my number of cups sold from 0 to 12. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got 20 lines across. So I'm going to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll be right back. Okay, after that I go ahead and start plotting my points. So at 0 cups sold, I had a profit of negative 40. So at 0 cups sold, that's right here, I have a profit of negative 40. And then at 2 cups, I had negative 36. And I'm just going to finish plotting my points in. Okay, so when I started plotting, I realized I made a little goofball right here. And I corrected that. And so what I need to do now is I have plotted all my I fixed my mistake. I plotted all my points. And there's my line. All done.